Who knows what he'll say, Jim?
Let him. He's come too late, that's all.
He couldn't come before. I'm frightened. He was fond of me.
And I'm not fond of you?
I should have waited, Jim. With him in some strange country fighting.
And what about me? I've been up to my ears in blood. I've learned what it could get.
Jim.
Did you?
Not like you, Jim. Not like you.
Then there's nothing to fear.
I promised him.
One man's luck is another man's poison.
I should have waited. But at some point I thought, I'll never come back.
Maybe it would have been better if you hadn't.
I wonder. I wonder if he'll be the same.
Don't you ever change on me. Don't you, or I'll kill you. And him too.
I never will.
Why not ditch this place? He'd never find us. What's the point of staying? The world's wide.
I'd rather have it off my mind now. Now that he's back?
It can only mean trouble.
What's the time, Jim?
4:30.
He said 4 o'clock. Jim, you better go.
No. I'm worried. I've seen just as much of hell as he has any day. What's he like?
I don't remember. I haven't seen him in 3 years. Since I've known you, I don't know what I remember.
Big or little guy?
It's about your size. Jim, go home.
No fear. What's a rube like him compared to an Al-Qaeda sniper? I don't wooze when faced with that. If you go, I'll go. Nothing else.
Jim, do you love me? Truly? There's nothing wrong with me loving you. He could see my heart.
Em, if I'd have known you out there, I never would have finished my tour, and peas would have gotten me for desertion. That's how I love you.
Jim, don't lift your hand to him. Promise.
That depends.
Promise.
If he stays quiet, I won't. But I'm not reasonable. Not always. Honestly, not since Afghanistan.
Just as likely he may be the same.
Likely or not, it's a slippery slope.
God help us.
I've said a bit too often. What we want, we take. There's no point in hoping for good. Besides, I don't fear him. I've seen worse.
Perhaps he'll say that too.
Then it'll be him or me.
I'm frightened.
No, no. It's a quiet place. What's one more or less? He won't hurt you. Or me.
Oh, no, give it to me, Jim.
Don't worry. I won't have any real reason to use it. I'm sure. My little M can't be expected to see things the way we do. What's life anyways? Seen 1,000 men killed in minutes. Men scattered on a minefield like hunks of meat. I've seen the white light 100 times. I've killed dozens of... It's nothing. He's safe. He's safe. As long as he doesn't get on the wrong side of me. If he does, nobody's safe. Not him. Not anyone. Not even you.
Jim, this is not that type of day. You can't...
That depends on him. I'm not looking for it. And I love you. I love your hair. I love your eyes. I love you.
I love you, Jim. In all the world, I don't want anything more than you. It's him.
Don't be frightened. I'm right here.
Lucky day. It's M. It's my M.
Hello, Jack.
M. M. Hello, my sweet.
I have something to tell you.
Oh, yeah? What sort of things this lovely day? Well, I got things that'll take me years to tell. Have you missed me, M?
You've been so long.
So I have. It's the way they have in the army, you know? But with each day, with each sun, I think of you, my M. 'Cause at any moment, a sniper could pop. You know, I said then, if I could get out of this, I'd laugh. And here you are. Brighter than any sun. Do you remember that last night in the woods? You said, come back quick and marry me, Jack. Well, I'm here. I've got my pass to paradise. No more landmines, no more body bags, no more sleeping rough. We can get married now, M. We can live soft and happy. Come, give me a kiss, my love.
No.
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 Why not?
This is why, soldier.
Who are you, Biff? The sun doesn't shine for you, does it? Who is he, M?
My man.
Your man? Bloody hell. And thus you see by fate's decree, or rather nurse's whim, my brother John got christened me, and I got christened him. And this morning, I was thinking, you know, I've been lucky. I mean, now I can laugh freely. And you, bro, you've a knife. So you've had your taste of the scorched earth and the stench.
Don't you make fun of me or else.
No, not at you, bro. Not at you. I'm just laughing at things in general. Relax. So where did you get it, my friend?
Through the lung.
Think of that. And I've never been touched. 4 years and not a scratch. So you've taken my girl. Nothing doing. Ha! The world is before me. Well, M, here's a thought. If it's what you want, then you be his long protector.
Em doesn't need your thought. She's made her choice.
All right? Well, let it be then. I've got a laugh in me that you can't put out as mean as you look. Goodbye, little M.
Don't touch him.
Look, bro. Let's just shake hands, all right? All right? Because I don't want to see someone I care for cry like that. Not on any day. Not less one with the sun so bright. I've seen too much sorrow, man. You and me've been against the wind. We've had our whack. Shake.
Who you kidding? You never loved her.
Well, I thought I did.
I'll fight you for her.
Look, bro, you've done your bit, all right? And I've done mine. It's taken us down seemingly different paths. Relax.
Jim.
I don't want his charity. I only want what I could take.
M, which of us do you want?
Him.
You see, Biff? Put away your knife, man, all right? Put away your knife. There's nothing here but laughs, man. We both know that. Laugh, my friend. Laugh.
Jim!
Look, it's no use, bro. I can't do it, all right? I said that I would laugh today, and laugh I will. I've been through a war machine, man, and all the sorrow and stench that goes along with it. But never again, as long as the sun is still shining. Ain't five, bro.
Don't hate me too much, Jack.
I can never hate my sweet M. Enjoy your fancy. So long, M. May the gods be with you.
He's mad.
The sun has touched him, Jim.
Come on in, ladies. It's abandoned, but not scary.
Of course it's abandoned.
Mr. Hale, before we move things about, you explain to Mr. Henderson just what you saw when you came here yesterday morning.
By the way, has anything been moved? Are things just as you left them yesterday?
It's just a sin. Sent Frank out this morning to check, but told him not to touch anything. You know Frank.
Somebody should have been left here yesterday.
Yesterday. when I sent Frank out to Morris Center for that man who went crazy. Well, I had my hands full yesterday. I knew you could get back from Sacramento by today. As long as I went over everything here myself,
Well, Mr. Hale, please tell me just what happened when you got to the house yesterday.
Harry and I started a town with a load of oranges. We came along the road from my place, and as I got here, I said, I'm gonna see if John Wright wants to join us. I thought he might join us selling his produce with ours at the farmer's market. I've spoken to Wright about it once before, but he put me off, saying that dealing with people face to face is more trouble than it's worth. And I guess you know about how much he liked people himself. But I thought if I went to the house and I talked about it before his wife, though I said to Harry, I don't think what his wife wanted made much difference to John Wright.
Let's talk about that later, Mr. Hale. I do want to talk about that. First, tell me just what happened when you got to the house.
I didn't hear or see anything. I knocked on the door, and still it was all quiet inside. I knew they must be up. It was past 8 o'clock. So I knocked again, and I thought I heard somebody say, come in. Well, I wasn't sure. I'm not sure yet. I opened the door, that door. I wandered into the dining room, and there in that chair sat Mrs. Wright.
What's she doing?
She was rocking back and forth. She had her apron in her hand and was kind of pleating it.
And how did she look?
Well, she looked queer.
How do you mean queer?
Well, as if she didn't know what she was gonna do next. Kind of done up.
How did she seem to feel about your coming in?
Well, I don't think she minded one way or the other. She didn't pay much attention. I said, "How do, Mrs. Wright? It's warm, ain't it?" She said, "Is it?" And went on pleating at her apron. Well, I was surprised she didn't ask me to come in or sit down. She just sat there, not even looking at me. I said, "I want to see John." And then she laughed. I guess you'd call it a laugh. I thought of Harry outside, so I said a little sharp, "Can I see John?" "No," she says, kind of doll-like. "Ain't he home?" says I. "Yeah," says she, "he's home." "Then why can't I see him?" I asked her, out of patience. "Because he's dead," says she. "Dead," says I. She just nodded her head, not getting a bit of excited, but rocking back and forth. "Well, why? Where is he?" Not knowing what to say. She just pointed like that. I got up with the idea of going there. I walked from there to here. I asked, "Well, what did he die of?" "Tied of a rope around his neck," she says. Just went on pleating at her apron. Well, I I went out and called Harry. Thought I might need help. Well, we went there and he was lying right on the...
I think I'd rather have you go over that in the bedroom where you can point to Olive. Just go on now with the rest of your story.
Well, my first thought was to get the rope off. It looked... But Harry went up to him and he said, no, he's dead, all right. We better not touch anything. So we went back. She was still sitting in that chair the same way. Has anybody been notified? I asked her. No, she says, unconcerned. Who did this, Mrs. Wright? Says Harry. Said it businesslike. Stopped pleating of her apron. I don't know, she says. You don't know, says Harry. No, says she. Weren't you sleeping in the bed with them, says Harry. Yeah, says she. But I was on the inside. Somebody slipped a rope around his neck and you didn't wake up, says Harry. I didn't wake up, she said after him. We must have looked as if we couldn't see how they could be. For after a minute, she said, I sleep sound. Well, Harry was about to ask her more questions. And I said, maybe we ought to let her tell her story first to the coroner or the sheriff. So Harry went fast as he could to get Sheriff Peters.
And what did Mrs. Wright do when she knew you had gone for the coroner?
Well, she moved from that chair to this chair over here. And she just sat there, with her hands held together and looking down. Well, I got a feeling I should make conversation, so I told her I come to ask John if he wanted to join me and Harry selling produce at the farmer's market in Riverside. At that, she started to laugh. And then she stopped and looked at me scared. I don't know, maybe it wasn't scared. I wouldn't like to say that it was. Soon Harry got back and Dr. Lloyd came and you, Mr. Peters. I guess that's all I know you don't.
I guess we'll go up to the bedroom, then out to the barn and around there. You're convinced that there's nothing of importance here. Nothing that can point to any motive.
Nothing here but kitchen things.
Well, here's a nice mess.
Oh, her fruit. It did freeze. She worried because it gets so cold at night that her jars might break.
Can you beat women? Held for murder. Worried about her preserves.
I guess before we're through, she may have something more serious to worry about.
Well, women are used to worrying over trifles.
And yet, for all their worrying, what would we do without the ladies? Dirty towel. Not much of a housekeeper, would you say, ladies?
There's a great deal of work to be done on a place this big.
To be sure, and yet, I know there are some county houses which do not have such dirty towels.
Those towels get dirty awful quick, Mr. Henderson. Men's hands aren't always as clean as they might be.
Loyal to your sex, I see. But you and Mrs. Wright were neighbors. I suppose you were friends too?
I've not seen much of her of late years. I've not been in this house. Gosh, it's been more than a year.
And why was that? You didn't like her very much, did you?
I liked her all well enough. Farmers' wives have their hands full. And then...
Yes?
It never seemed a very cheerful place.
No, it's not cheerful. I wouldn't say she had the homemaking instinct.
Well, I don't know as Wright had either.
You mean they didn't get on very well?
No, I don't mean anything. But I don't think a place would be any more cheerfuler for John Wright's being in it.
I'd like to talk about that more a little later. I want to get the lay of things now.
I suppose anything Mrs. Peters does would be all right. She must have taken a few clothes for her. And a few little things. You left in such a hurry yesterday.
Yes, but I do want to see what you bring, Mrs. Peters. And do keep an eye out for anything that might be of use to us.
Yes, Mr. Henderson.
I'd hate to have men coming into my kitchen, snooping around and criticizing.
Of course, it's no more than their duty.
All right, but I guess that deputy sheriff that came out to check on the place might have gotten a little of this on. I wish I'd thought of that. Seems mean to talk about her for not having the place nice and tidy when she had to come away in such a hurry.
She had a bread set.
It's a shame about her fruit. I wonder if it's all gone. I think there's some here that's all right. Yes, here. Oh, this is cherries, too. I believe that's the only one. She'll feel awful bad after all her hard work and the hot weather. I remember the afternoon last summer I put up my cherries.
Well, I must get those things from the closet for Mrs. Wright. It's lonely in there.
Wright was closed. I think maybe that's why she kept so much to herself.
didn't even belong to any community groups. I suppose she felt she couldn't do her part, and then you don't enjoy things much when you feel shabby. She used to wear pretty clothes and be so lively when she was Minnie Foster, one of the town girls singing in the choir. But that was long ago. Was this all she wanted?
She said she wanted an apron. Funny thing to want, because there isn't much to get you dirty in jail, but I guess it'll make her feel more natural. She said it was over there in the top cupboard.
Mrs. Peters?
Yes, Mrs. Hale?
Do you think she did it?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I don't think she did. Asking for an apron, worrying about her fruit.
Mr. Peters says it looks bad for her. Mr. Henderson is awful sarcastic, and in court, he'll make fun of her, saying she didn't wake up.
Well, I guess John Wright didn't wake up when the rope went round his neck.
That's the strange part. It must have been done awful crafty and still. They say it was such a funny way to kill a man, rigging it all up like that.
That's what Mr. Hale said. But what he really doesn't understand is there was a gun in the house. Coming out here, Mr. Henderson said, what was needed for the case was a motive. Something to show anger or sudden feeling. I don't see any sign of anger around here. One side of the table is clean, the other as if she'd been interrupted. I wonder how they're finding things upstairs. I hope she had it a little more ready up there. You know, it seems kind of sneaking. Locking her up in town and then coming out here and trying to get her own house to turn against her.
But, Mrs. Hale, the law is the law.
I guess it is. Whew. California sun. Only gonna get warmer.
That's for sure. She was piecing a quilt.
Oh. Log cabin pattern. Pretty, isn't it? I wonder if she was gonna quilt it or just knot it.
They wonder if she was gonna quilt it or just knot it.
Well, looks like the ladies have everything under control here. Let's go on out to the barn and get that cleared up.
I don't think there's anything strange. Our sharing her pleasure in the things she made while they're doing the evidence thing. Certainly nothing to laugh about.
Well, they certainly have awful important things on their minds.
Miss Peters, look at this. Here, this is the one she was working on. All nice and neat. But look at this. It's all over the place. Why, it looks as if she didn't know what she was about.
Oh, Mrs. Hale, what are you doing?
Just pulling out a stitch or two that's not sewed well. Bad sewing always makes me nervous.
I don't know if we should touch things.
I'll just finish up this end. Mrs. Peters?
Yes, Mrs. Hale?
What do you suppose she was so nervous about?
Oh, I don't know if she was nervous. Sometimes I sew awful queer when I'm just tired. Well, I must get these things wrapped up. They may be through sooner than we think. I wonder where I can find a shopping bag or something to bundle these things.
In that cupboard, maybe.
Did she have a bird, Mrs. Hale?
I don't know whether she did or not. I've not been here for so long. There was a man around last year selling canaries cheap, but I don't know if she took one. Maybe she did. She used to sing. Such a beautiful voice.
Seems funny to think of a bird around here, but she must have had one, or why have a cage? I wonder what happened to it.
I don't know. Maybe the cat got it.
No, I don't think she had a cat. I don't think she likes them. My cat got in her room and she got real upset and asked me to take it out.
My sister's like that, with dogs. To each their own.
Why? Look at the door. It's broke. One hinge is pulled apart.
Looks as if someone must have been rough with it.
Why, yes.
I wish if they were going to find any evidence, they'd get on with it. I don't like this place.
But I'm awful glad you came with me, Mrs. Hale. It would be real lonesome for me sitting here all alone.
It would, wouldn't it? I tell you what I do wish, Mrs. Peters. I wish I'd come over sometime when she was here. I can see now.
But of course you were awful busy. Your house and your children.
I could have come. I stayed away because it wasn't cheerful, and that's why I should have. I've never liked the place. I don't know if it's because it's down in a hollow and you can't see the road. I don't know what it is, but it's a lonesome place. Always has been. I really wish I'd come and seen Minnie. I wish I had.
Well, you mustn't reproach yourself, Mrs. Hale. Sometimes we just don't see how it is for others until something happens.
Not having children makes less work, but it makes a quiet house. And right out to work all day, and no company when he did come in. Did you know John Wright, Mrs. Peters?
I knew of him, seen him around town. They say he was a good man.
Yes, good. He didn't drink, and kept his word as well as most, I guess. And he paid his bills. But he was a hard man, Mrs. Peters. Just to pass the time of day with him. Like a raw wind that gets to the bone. I should think she would have liked to have a bird. I wonder what happened to it.
I don't know, unless it got sick and died.
You weren't raised around here, were you? You didn't know her?
Not till they brought her yesterday.
Come to think of it, she was kind of like a bird herself. Real sweet, pretty, but timid and fluttery. How she did change. Tell you what, Mrs. Peters, why don't you take the quilt with you? It might take up her mind.
Why, I think that's a real nice idea, Mrs. Hale. There couldn't possibly be any objection to it, could there? No. Just what would I take? I wonder if all our patches and things are in the basket.
Here's some red. What a pretty box. Looks like something somebody might give you. Maybe her scissors are in here. Why? There's something wrapped up in here.
This isn't her scissors.
Mrs. Peters, it's
the bird.
Look at it, Mrs. Peters. Its neck. Look at its neck. It's all to the other side.
Somebody wrung its neck.
Well, ladies, have you decided whether she was going to quilt it or knot it?
We think she was going to knot it.
That's interesting, I'm sure. Has the bird flown?
We think the cat got it.
Is there a cat?
Well, not anymore. They're superstitious, you know, they leave.
Well, no sign of anyone having come from the outside with their own rope. Let's go up again and go over piece by piece. It would have had to have been someone who knew just the exact time.
She liked the bird. She was going to bury it in that pretty box.
When I was a girl, my kitten, there was a boy. took a hatchet and before my eyes, and before I could get there, if they wouldn't have come to got me, I would have. Hurt him.
I wonder how it would seem never to have had children around. No, Rat wouldn't like a bird. A thing that sang. She used to sing. He killed that, too.
We don't know who killed the bird.
I knew John Wright.
It was an awful thing done in that house that night, Mrs. Hale. Killing a man while he slept, slipping a rope around his neck that choked the life out of him.
His neck? Choke the life out of him? If there had been years and years of nothing, and then a bird to sing to you, it'd be awful still. After the bird was still.
I know what stillness is. When we were in Dakota, my first baby died after he was 2 years old, and I had no other then.
How soon do you suppose they'll be through looking for the evidence?
I know what stillness is. The law has got to punish crime, Mrs. Hale.
I wish you'd seen Minnie Foster when she wore a white dress with a blue ribbon and stood up there in the choir and sang. I wish I'd come over to see her once in a while. That was a crime. That was a crime.
You should.
Who's gonna punish that?
Take it on. You should not take it on.
I should have known she needed help. I know how things can be for women. You know it's queer, Mrs. Peters. We live close together, but we live far apart. We all go through the same things. It's just a different kind of the same thing. If I were you, Mrs. Peters, I wouldn't tell her that her fruit was gone. I'd say it was all right. Take this to prove it to her. She may never know.
My, it's a good thing the men couldn't hear us. Wouldn't they just laugh? Getting all stirred up over a little thing like a dead canary. As if that could have anything to do with. Wouldn't they laugh?
Maybe they would. Maybe they wouldn't.
No, Peters. It's all clear except her reason. But you know jurors when it comes to women. But if I could find some definite thing, something to make a story about, a thing to connect up with this strange way of doing it, if I could find that, then I'm sure.
Are you ready to go back?
I'm gonna stay here a while by myself. You can send a car for me, can't you? I want to go over everything. I'm not satisfied that we can't do better.
You want to see what Mrs. Peters is going to take in?
Yeah. Well, I guess they're not very dangerous things the ladies have picked out. Mrs. Peters doesn't need supervising. In fact, being a sheriff's wife, it's like being married to the law. You ever think of it that way, Mrs. Peters?
Not just that way.
Married to the law. Just wanted to come in here for a minute, George. We gotta check out these windows.
Windows.
We'll be right back. Stick it out.
Well, Henry, at least we figured out she was not going to quilt it. She was going to, what was it you call it, ladies?
We call it Not It, Mr. Henderson.
Vincent. Vincent! You needn't pretend you're asleep. Vincent? Vincent. I knew it. Vincent! Vincent! Don't you think it's about time you got up? Do you want to stay in bed all day? Not that I have any doubts about your being lazy enough to stay in bed forever. Goodness knows what time it is. We haven't even got any way of telling the time since you've pawned everything. All the valuable things we had, and you knew it. It's been nothing but pawn, pawn, pawn with you. Anything to put off getting a job. Anything to get out of going to work like a man. Get up! Do you hear me? I want to make that bed before I go out. I'm sick of having this place a continual mess of your account. Not that we'll be here much longer unless you can find some money someplace. Heaven knows I do my part, going to work every day while you play the gentleman and loaf around in bar rooms with that good-for-nothing lot of artists from the square. And where are you going to get the money, I'd like to know. The rent's due this week, and you know what the landlord is. He won't let us stay a minute over our time. You say you can't get a job. That's a lie, and you know it. You never even look for one. All you do is moon around all day, writing silly poetry and stories that no one will buy. And it's no wonder they won't. It seems that I can always get a position, such as it is, and it's only that which keeps us from starving to death. got to get the money today, someplace. I can't do it all, and I won't do it all. You've got to come to your senses. You've got to beg, borrow, or steal it somewhere. But where, I'd like to know. You're too proud to beg, and you've already borrowed the limit. You haven't the nerve to steal. Aren't you up yet, for heaven's sake? Oh, you are up. Well, it's about time. You needn't look at me like that. Your superior airs don't fool me any longer. I know you too well, you and your goings-on. I know a lot of things, my dear, but never mind what I know now. I'll tell you before I go, don't you worry. I suppose I might as well get breakfast ready. Not that there's anything much to get. Unless you've got some money. Foolish question. I ought to know you better than that by now. When you left in such a huff last night, I knew what would happen. You can't be trusted for 1 minute. And the state you came home in, the fight we had was only an excuse for you to go make a beast of yourself. What was the point in pawning anything if all you wanted was to waste the money in buying drink? Hurry up! I suppose I should get breakfast ready. Not that there's anything much to get. All we have this morning is bread and butter and coffee. And we wouldn't even have that if it wasn't for me working myself to death. The bread's stale. Hope you like it. You don't deserve any better, but I don't see why I should have to suffer. The coffee will be ready in a minute. You needn't expect me to wait for you. What on earth are you doing in there all this time? Well, you're almost dressed at any rate. I almost expected to find you back in bed. That'd be just like you. How awful you look this morning. For heaven's sake, shave. You're disgusting. You look like a tramp. It's no wonder no one will give you a job when you don't even look halfway decent. There's plenty of hot water here, and your razor. You've got no excuse. Here. Look at your hands shake. You've got to stop drinking. It's just your kind that get the DTs, and that'd be the last straw. Look at the mess you've made of the floor. Cigarette butts and ashes all over the place. Couldn't you just put it on a plate? But no, that'd be too considerate of you. You never think of me. You're not the one who has to sweep the floor, and that's all you care about. Hurry up! It's about time for me to go. If I'm late, I'm liable to lose my position, and then I wouldn't be able to support you any longer. And then you'd have to get a job or something terrible like that. What I want to know is, are you going to look for a job today or not? You know, your family won't help us either. They've had enough of you too. I'm about sick of all this life. I have a mind to go home if I weren't too proud to admit what a failure you've been. You, the millionaire Roland's only son, the Harvard graduate, the poet, the catch of the town. Oh, there wouldn't be many that envy my catch now if they knew the truth. What has our marriage been, I'd like to know. I suppose you thought I ought to have been glad that you were honorable enough to marry me after getting me pregnant. You were ashamed of me with your fine friends, because my father's only a grocer. But at least he's honorable. That's more than anyone can say about yours. You hoped everyone would think that you'd been forced to marry me and pity you, didn't you? You didn't hesitate much in telling me you loved me, making me believe your lies before it happened, did you? You made me believe that you didn't want your father to buy me off as he had tried to. But I know better than that now. I haven't lived with you all this time for nothing. It's a good thing that the poor thing was born dead after all. What a father you'd have been. And I'm not the only one who has you to thank for being unhappy. There's at least one other, and she can't hope to marry you now. How about Helen? Don't look at me like that. Yes, I read her letter. I have a right to. I am your wife, and I know everything there is to know, so don't bother lying. You needn't look at me like that. You can't bully me with your superior airs any longer. If only for me, you'd be going without breakfast this very morning. You never did have any gratitude for what I've done. Coffee's almost ready. Don't expect me to wait for you. My head aches so this morning. It's a shame I have to go to work in a stuffy room all day, and in my condition. I wouldn't have to if you were half a man. By rights, I ought to be lying on my back instead of you. You know how sick I've been this last year, and yet you object when I take just a little something to lift my spirits. You didn't even want me to take that tonic I got at the drugstore. I know you'd be glad to have me dead and out of your way. Then you'd be free to chase after all these silly girls who think you're such a wonderful, misunderstood person. This Helen and the others.
Ow.
There. I knew you'd cut yourself. It'll be a lesson to you. You know you oughtn't be running around nights drinking with your nerves in such a state. Why do you look so pale? What are you staring at yourself in the mirror that way for? God, for heaven's sakes, wipe that blood off your face. It's horrible. I never could stand the sight of blood. You better just give up shaving and go to a barber shop. Your hand shakes dreadfully. What are you staring at me that way for? I'll give you a couple of bucks if you only promise me not to go buy a drink with it. Are you still mad at me about that letter? Well, I had a right to read it. I am your wife. I always knew you were running around with someone. Your lame excuses about spending time at the library didn't fool me. So who is this Helen, anyway? Is she one of those artists, or does she write poetry too? Her letter sounds that way. I'll bet she told you that your things were the best ever, and you believed her like a fool. Is she young and pretty? I was young and pretty too when you fooled me with your fine poetic talk. But life with you would soon wear anyone down. What I've been through. Breakfast is ready. Your coffee will be cold. What are you doing? Still shaving, for heaven's sake? You're gonna have to give it up, or one of these days you'll get a serious cut. I'm going to have to run as soon as I'm done eating. One of us has to go work. Are you going to look for a job today, or aren't you? I should think that some of your fine friends should be able to help you if they really think you're so much. But I guess they just like to hear you talk. I'm sorry for this, Helen, whoever she is. Haven't you got any feelings for other people? What will her family say? I see she mentions them in her letter. What is she going to do? Will she keep the child, or will she go to one of those doctors? That's a nice thing, isn't it? Well, where will she get the money? Is she rich? You won't tell me anything about her, will you? Much I care. Come to think of it, I'm not sorry for her after all. She knew what she was doing. She isn't any schoolgirl like I was, from the looks of her letter. Does she know you're married? Of course she does. All of your friends know about your unhappy marriage. I know they pity you, but they don't know my half of it. They'd talk different if they did. Well, I've got to run. This is a fine life for me to be leading. I won't stand for your loafing any longer. You've overturned the water all over everything. Don't say you haven't. I can hear the water dripping. Vincent! Vincent! Why Why don't you answer me? Are you still drunk?